All right, guys, good morning. Today we're going to go over law of sines. Law of sines allows us to find the missing side or missing angle of a non-right triangle, depending on the information we're given. So it's helpful if we have triangles that we're trying to find the missing side or angle of when it's not a right triangle. So let's kind of get into this. I'm going to skip where law of sines comes from to start. I'm going to go into it, and then at the very end, I'll go back and you can see that if you're curious how to do it. Okay, so law of sines. Law of sines is for any triangle with side lengths A, B, and C and for angles A, B, and C respectively, the law of sines relates each sine of each angle to its opposite side, right? So angle C goes with side C, angle B, side B, angle A, side A, right? And you write a proportion to talk about this relationship. So we'd say sine of angle A over side A equals sine of angle B over side B equals sine of angle C over side C. Okay? So that's law of sines. So let's use that to find some missing sides. So in example 2, it says find xz, which I'm going to label y because it's opposite angle y, and yz, which I'm going to label x because it's opposite that 51 degrees. Okay, so we're going to find those measurements. Now we know 77 and 7 are opposite, so that angle and side match up, right? So I can say sine 77 over 7 equals, now let's solve for x first, sine of 55 over x. Okay, so let's solve this. We're going to cross multiply here. All right, we're going to cross multiply here, and I get x sine 77 equals 7 sine 55. I want x by itself, so I have to divide by sine 77. And I get x equals 7 sine 55 over sine 77. All right, I'm going to plug that all in my calculator, and I get that x is about 5.58. Okay. All right, let's do it now for the next one. Now for y, we don't have this angle measure filled in there, but we can find it pretty easily by doing 180 minus 77 minus 51. When I subtract those, I'm left with 50 degrees for the measure of angle y. So I can say sine 52 over y equals sine 77 over 7, right? Cross multiply, 7 sine 52 equals y sine 77, and divide by sine 77. And I get 7 sine 52 over sine 77, which gets me 5.66 for the length of y, which is the same as xz, right? All right, let's try this next one. So for this next one, we have two sides and an angle, right? You always set it up, sine of an angle with the side opposite. So sine 74 over 12.3. And we don't know the measure of this angle s. I'm trying to find the angle, so sine of s over 12.7. I want to get sine s by itself, so I'm going to multiply by 12.7. Right, that cancels this out. So I have sine of s equals 12.7 sine 74 over 12.3. Right? All right. Well, we know when we're solving for a missing angle, anytime you solve for a missing angle, you have to use the inverse sign. So I'm doing sine to the negative 1 power of 12.7 sine 74 over 12.3. Right? I'm going to plug all that in my calculator, and I get the measure of angle S is 82.99 degrees. Right? That's S. Well, once I know S, finding R is really easy. Measure of angle R is going to be 180 minus 74 minus 82.99. And I'm left with 23.01 degrees. Awesome. Why don't you guys try this next one? All right, so you should have set this one up. Sine 70 over 4 equals sine n over 2. I want to get sine n by itself, so like the last one, I'm going to multiply by 2 on both sides, which cancels that. So 2 sine 70 over 4 equals sine n. Again, anytime you're solving for an angle measure, you have to do the inverse sine. So inverse sine of 2 sine 70 over 4, right? And you should have plugged all of that in your calculator, and you get the measure of angle n is 23.02 degrees. Well, we know once we get n, we're in good shape. To get the next one, I can do, or sorry, not 23, 28.02 degrees, right? All right, then I'm going to label that. Now that I have that, 180 minus 28.02 minus 70, and I get 80.98. Awesome. Well, email me with questions. I hope you guys are all doing well.